Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and Rico Petrocelli.
So, as you can see, our viewers and listeners, Rico is on the IL this week.
Don't laugh.
Actually, we're both on the IL. We're both fighting colds. We don't have COVID. Fighting colds. I've tested negative about 420 times. Ellen's sick. Elsie's sick. Rico is
sick, real sick.
Oh, you're not that sick. Would
All right.
You stop it?
All right. You understand that there comes a time in life where, where you have to be very careful with any little thing. Colds.
Are you at that stage of your life?
Warts. You get a wart, you get scared. What is it?
Are you at that stage of your life?
Not yet.
Tom Zappala, Rico Petrocelli. We have a special guest in-house with us, Paul Borges from PB Collectibles. Drove up all the way from beautiful Rhode Island. My daughter lives in Rhode Island, loves it.
In whereabouts?
On the east side of Providence.
Oh, beautiful.
Near Brown University, up in that area. Loves it. Loves it. All right, and then we have Steve Verkman from Clean Sweep coming on. Steve's got a great auction. And then last but not least, we found him in a dumpster, sober. Derek Grady will be joining us the last 15 minutes of the show. But first, our headlines. Behind the Card film opens.
The what?
Will you let me read it?
Well, what is that?
I'll read it if you pay attention.
Go ahead.
There's a new documentary film on the modern world of sports. According to Vertical Entertainment, which has distribution rights, Behind the Card highlights a large, unregulated industry's path from card creation to the end buyer, capturing manipulation of the card market, card theft, online scams, new technological innovations, and the unity of family and friends through the 100-year history of collecting. The 1-hour, 36-minute film includes interviews with card shop owners, Panini executive Beckett's Jeremy. They spelled it wrong. Murray, collectors Rob Go and Steve Aoki. The film was set to open, and it's going to open in Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Detroit, and Minneapolis. And it's going to be available on
what's
Apple
this? They're
TV.
going to tell you?
It's a documentary. No,
Yeah.
it's going to give the whole picture of the industry.
Well,
listen,
the
we
only
all
thing,
know
I don't. I hope they don't do too much on the
unsavory part of it.
Yes.
But you know something, we're going to bring Leighton in. We'll ask Steve later on. Listen, it's an industry.
I understand.
In the aerospace industry, there's the same stuff. Yeah. Like Raytheon.
They collect cards there?
No, but they have industrial espionage and stuff like that,
of
right?
Course, yeah.
It's all the
I
same.
understand.
It's an industry.
But I just, because such a great...
yeah, whatever. And don't forget to please subscribe, like, and share the show with your friends. You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube. Listen to us anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. Alexa, iHeartRadio, Pandora, whatever. And also, you can also leave me a message at zapsenior@hotmail.com, ZAPSR at hotmail. What?
The military station. What is
Boldix?
No, the military radio station goes out to all over the place.
Oh, no, I don't think we're on that.
We should get on that. Anyway,
Leighton, will you help me here? I'm begging you. Will you help me here?
Listen.
This is like a scene out of Good Morning Vietnam.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, listen, the reason we asked
Very
Leighton to
sick,
come on,
very sick.
everybody knows Leighton Sheldon, Vintage Breaks, Just Collect.
The best.
But Leighton has recently opened up a card shop. Paul has opened up a card shop, and I want to talk to both of you guys. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes, Leighton. Tell us about your card shop. Who does it appeal to? How big is it? And are you seeing, are you seeing some activity?
Absolutely. So before I address any of those, thanks for having me on. Appreciate Rico and Tom being such troopers with their illnesses to be hosting the show today. But all joking aside, I hope you get well soon, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And the last thing before I answer your question seriously, I had a comment on this, Zap. I believe, and we'll have the record to prove it, I think you just compared the baseball card industry to the aerospace industry, if I'm not mistaken. And if you did, that was unbelievable.
I was simply making a point. It was
smooth like butter, my friend, as my son would say.
Thank you.
So anyway, we recently, just a few months ago, opened up a shop here in Millburn, New Jersey, 296 Millburn Ave, Suite 102. What's really nice, gang, is that we have our offices for both Just Collect and Vintage Breaks behind our shop, and we actually put a ton of money in construction. This is a relatively, nice-ish area, and so we wanted to make sure that we look the part. And so we have, give or take, 800, 1,000 square feet, and we're actually trying to curate a vintage experience. So in other words, we don't necessarily have what every other card shop's going to have. We have some really nice vintage. We do have some Pokemon for the kids. And, we do have, let's say, different price points, and we're still learning. And Paul, if you've been open longer than us, you'll probably be able to talk to that, a little bit more.
Sure.
But one thing I wanted to make sure that I plugged was, first of all, if you own a hobby shop, just in the short period that we've been open, you got to make sure, people were preaching this to me before we opened, you got to make sure you have Pokemon. Boy, were they right. There's some days that Pokemon, whether it be wax and or singles, will outsell sports cards by 5 to 1, if not greater. So
I don't get that.
Neither do I. But here's the thing: I don't get a lot of things in life, and so you just try to figure out which things you want to figure out and not, and then other things you just kind of take at face value.
What the customers
and so that's kind of what I'm doing.
Paul, do you get into that?
The Pokemon, I really don't get into. I do have wax, Pokemon wax. We do sell some of that at the shop, but predominantly it's sports cards for us. Do people come in and ask for Pokemon? Definitely.
They do.
So I try to have a little bit of that too.
Can I have
Go.
Are you sure?
I'll pause it.
Guy, but for both of you, actually, years. Hey, don't breathe on me.
Can I have that Lysol?
What the hell? No, years ago when we had a ton of shops, right? I mean, seemed like there was one on every corner.
Yeah.
That's
it's like Starbucks.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, they stopped. They sold them or closed them or whatever.
Well, that's because of the junk wax era, pretty much, isn't it? I would think.
Yeah.
You want to ask the question?
No, ask the question.
See what I mean? I'm trying not to breathe on you.
I digress.
No, but what made you guys? You had maybe opened a little earlier. What made you guys want to get into this? Into that?
Good question.
Wait a minute.
Okay, Leighton, you go first.
Sure. Well, the first thing is I just want to make sure there's an asterisk, just like on Maris's record, there's an asterisk here. I'm still waiting for an evaluation back from the psychiatrist. So there's no guarantee that what I've done is a good idea. I just want to make that clear to the folks watching at home.
Wasn't time? Is it? You know what I'm saying? Was it time?
Sure. Rico, I'll try to be serious for a minute. So what actually happened, at least for us, was, hey, I wanted to open up a card shop ever since I realized I wasn't going to play professional baseball as a 12-year-old, right? 15-year-old kid. And so putting that dream aside, we were actually at our former location, which was a mile from Rutgers College campus in New Jersey, for about 12, 14, almost 15 years. It was our second office. And the main reason we moved is because the building was sold. We did not own our space. We were renting. And the building was sold. The gentleman and the group that were taking it over said, we're going to make it great, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, the small detail is that we're raising the rent astronomically.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know anything about anything as far as commercial real estate. I'm like, I think I might be able to get a new place for that kind of money. And I figured since we were going to likely move and not stay and renew, I'm like, let me see if I can find a community where I can not only rent offices for both of my businesses, Just Collect and Vintage Breaks, but maybe because we're going to be here all day anyway, meaning our expertise as a staff, we'll get someone to help with the store, meaning and staff up. And we decided to try to make it all work together as opposed to have a store separate from our offices. And so, Rico, what happened is that a business opportunity arose out of just life happening. And so we took the bull by the horns, right? Instead of saying it wasn't the right time, it wasn't the right place, we weren't prepared as well, or we didn't do as much work as we would have liked to, because it was kind of crazy when we moved out of the old office into the new office, but we just decided to go for it. And we've been open a couple months. We're really glad we did. I have bless you. We have a 7, almost 8-year-old son, and he loves coming here to the store. And even though he actually doesn't really love cards yet, I hope he does soon. Crosby will play like hot potato on kids' trade night with the kids. And so what you start to realize is, I don't know about you guys, but I was a Boy Scout for like 2 years as a kid. And yet when you're a Boy Scout, you're like always finding like 1 week you go to a church, the next week you go to someone's basement. And my point is that in terms of like where to get together, you never knew exactly where to go. So we're actually feeling that our store is going to become this nucleus, this center for the community
That's
at
what you
large,
want.
and obviously starting with the kids.
Paul, quickly.
Well, Paul,
How long have you been in business?
We've been open since 2019.
Right.
November 2019.
So it's just a couple of years too.
So
Same
that's
thing.
your main. It's his main income.
No,
it's
he's
not.
a professor.
I teach at a local university, and I have a small
Okay.
little advertising
Oh,
business.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the
Are
same.
you
guys
happy
have
with what you're
something
saying?
else.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been. I'll tell you. I opened up in November of 2019, and then just as we opened, we had to close down because of COVID. And then we opened back up in May, and it's been lights out since.
Good for you. Leighton, before we let you go, your website address?
JustCollect.com.
Just Collect, and you can see everything, right?
Yep, and VintageBreaks.com. Check out, by the way, folks, if you're into Gaudis, we just made an incredible find out in Arizona, over 800 cards from the 30s, including, believe it or not, 22 Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig Gaudi cards from 33 and 34.
Nice.
You can read about it on our blog at blog.justcollect.com. And lastly, I just want to plug, Andy Friedman was kind enough to hook up with us. We're going to do a trade night this Friday night
Very cool.
from 4 to 10 o'clock at our store. Andy Friedman is an accomplished artist. He also was responsible for some of the top 70 art, as well as some other great stuff. Stop by the store, free food and drinks. We'll be trading and buying and selling cards all night this Friday, 4 to 10 o'clock. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right,
Happy
brother, we
holidays
love you.
to everyone
Happy
out there.
holidays,
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Leighton
Best of
Sheldon.
luck.
Good guy, man. He's a good guy.
Very nice. So,
You know?
yeah. No, I was concerned, not concerned, but I was thinking of other ways you guys, can you make a living from that? Just having
I
the
think you
store.
can.
Definitely.
There's no way.
Definitely. I could do it full time.
Absolutely. All right, let's bring in our main guest, good friend. He's done real well. Steve Verkman from Clean Sweep Auctions. Stephen, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Sorry your guys got the flu. My son just got it, too.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird. It's like all over Massachusetts, pretty much.
All everywhere.
Yeah, it's just, thank God it's not COVID. It's just, Paul's had it. Rico's
Still have it.
Rico's going to get sprayed again.
That
David,
was good. I
our
like
producer,
that.
Chrissy's the only one that's healthy, and I can't understand it. The way her lifestyle is like off the charts. I just can't believe it. Anyway, Steve, you've got an auction that's going on right now. And when does it end? December 11th?
No. The auction ends tonight. The auction, the two-day
right.
auction. So it ends. The first part is mostly baseball autographs.
Yep.
That ends tonight. And if you want to get your bids in for today's stuff, you have to have your bids in by 8 o'clock Eastern time. So you go to cleansweepauctions.com and just check it out. And you have to have your bids in by 8. If for some reason a lot doesn't have a bid in tonight's auction, you can then bid after 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, Thursday, we have a whole round of baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards, hockey cards, autographs, memorabilia. So that for the Thursday stuff, you just have to have your bid in by 8 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday. So we figured a lot of your listeners might be more into the Thursday stuff, but there's some cool stuff on Wednesday too.
By the way, Paul, jump in anytime you want
Yeah,
here,
sure.
because this is like an open forum. So you've got over 400 baseball cards. Can what are some of the highlight cards that you have that you're offering?
Well, this particular auction it's different than anyone else's auction, I think. This is almost all affordable stuff. Almost everything in this auction is worth $500 or less. It's a real collector-driven auction. We run 3 auctions a year with our best stuff. Then we run 3 of these, and they get a big response. There's thousands a lot, so it's like, there's so much to choose from. So in this auction, there's like Reggie Jackson rookies and PSA 6s. There's 65 Mantles and PSA 5s. Cards like that. There's a nice assortment of things. Nothing earth-shattering, but just, fun, clean, collectible cards. There's a lot of, sets from the 70s and 80s. In this case, we have a bunch of modern cards too, going up to like 2020. So there's just solid regular stuff in terms of cards,
Steve,
and generally higher grade condition.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, and Paul, was this last year from Mantle, 68.
69.
Wait a minute.
Well, the 69 card,
68.
though. Yeah, but the 69, there was a 69
okay,
card.
so his last year,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
his last
yes.
card, is that
That's a good question. Another good question. 2
relatively
in a row.
expensive or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. Yeah, you're right. They shouldn't have made the card. They just did it to sell cards because he wasn't going to play at all. in
Yeah,
1969.
spring training he announced.
Yeah, they that wasn't going to happen.
I'm going to ask you guys a question, both Paul and Steve. So you're a memorabilia guy. You're a card guy, right? Mm-hmm. So Mickey Mantle's last at bat, the last ball hit by him was caught by this guy right here.
Really?
If he would not have thrown that ball on the mound
gotta do
and
that.
stuck it in his pocket,
I've heard this.
what would the value of that ball be, Steve?
I don't know, nowadays, it could be $1 million now.
I would think.
You okay? Can we?
Makes you feel better, Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you would have had kept it. You would have had it. Yeah, I mean, what if you really kept it for 55 years almost? If you did that.
Oh, I would have sold a long time ago.
You got to think about that. You know the
Listen,
stuff
I
that's
didn't
gone
know.
through your hands.
He didn't announce his retirement until spring training of '69.
Oh.
And so we didn't think he was going to retire. So I caught the pop-up, third out. And when we come in those years, you throw the ball on the mound for the opposition's pitcher. And that was that. And then when you learned, the next year, I said, oh, my
Well,
God.
wait a second. You did that also.
Stop it, will you?
Listen to this one, Steve.
Hey,
19 Red Sox hadn't won a pennant since 1946. 1967, Rich Rollins is up at the plate. It's a one game, and Petrocelli catches the Rich Rollins pop-up, which essentially clinched the pennant for the Red Sox, this 1967 Red Sox. What'd you do with that ball?
Well, this you shouldn't get on me because Jim Lonborg had a Cy Young year. So great year. Without him, we wouldn't have won. So after in the clubhouse, I gave him the ball. Jim, this is the last out. And he said, oh, great, thanks a lot.
What did he do with it?
Yeah.
Well, he gave it to Mr. and Mrs. Yawkey.
And what did she do with it? She lost it.
They lost somewhere. It's never to be found again.
Unbelievable.
What are you going to do, Try to be a
Signed
nice guy.
baseballs, Steve. You have a plethora of signed baseballs.
Yeah, we have hundreds of them. We love that stuff. So from
good
Mickey
stuff.
Mantle to Joe DiMaggio to Ted Williams, we have balls like that. We have team balls going back to the 1940s, All-Star game balls. There's a big assortment of things like that. So that stuff's always great. We love good autographed baseball.
Yeah.
No, I mean, are you kidding? And you have also single signed. You have single signed and team.
Yeah, single sign and team and multi. So things from Cy Young Award winners, 300 game winners, things like that. And then, all your usual Hall of Famers and some tougher dead guys. There's always a, mix of things in there. And then we have some unusual, football and basketball autographs, like the signed Sports Illustrateds are very popular now. And the different magazines. There's a nice Ali photo. There's a, big assortment of things. One thing we have that, you don't see every day. We got, the black bats that they gave out. Like Rico, you have your black bats from the 67.
Two of them.
Do you?
67 and 75.
Are those the ones you're going to leave me?
Oh, my kids.
Well, if they don't, what if they
come
don't want
first.
it? But you got some of those, Steve?
We got about 40 of them going back to 1940s. The biggest collection we've ever seen of them. We're going to have it in 2 auctions. So part 1 is going to end tonight, and then part 2 on next month. And there's some really cool ones in there.
What is that all about? The black bat? Is that like a commemorative bat? They
Yeah,
give
it
you?
has all the autographs printed on there.
But they give it to if you're
Everybody.
really
All the players, yeah. Good coaches and all that. Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. I think I had my 4 sons over to kind of spread, see what they wanted from the stuff that I had. And I think the 2 oldest took the black bats. And so I'll get them back.
Those are the ones that I saw at the Shriners show.
It was?
Yeah,
He was selling them.
he was selling them. All right, listen, we are chatting with Steve Verkman from Clean Sweep Auctions. Paul Borges from PB Collectibles is in the house. We're just kind of mix it up today. Later on, Derek is coming on with us if we can find him. So hang in there. We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Well, look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Number 6 on the roster, but number 6 in our hearts. Number 1 in our hearts.
Pretty low.
On deck with Rico Petrocelli.
All right, so it's time for our segment On Deck with Rico, brought to you by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions. Don't forget to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com. That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service. All right, so this week's question was submitted by a gentleman, Walter, how do you pronounce it? Desjardins.
Wasn't there another question from him?
No.
The name sounds familiar.
And Walter, he will win an official Great American Collectibles T-shirt.
Very nice. $1.50.
Smells a little bit.
Smells, sure. What are you sleeping with it?
I don't know. All right, here's a question. This is kind of a cool question.
I don't know.
Rico, when you guys were on the road, did you have a favorite city, number 1, and a favorite restaurant, number 2?
Oh, I like the question.
Well, let me just think. Yes, of course we had a favorite city, and it's usually the one we did well in on the field. But no, mine was Chicago.
You love Chicago?
Oh, I loved Chicago. We used to go, and there was a restaurant there, not too far from the hotel. It has jazz, all the top jazz guys.
Right on that main drag there.
Yeah. We see those two, and the water. The river.
And what about a restaurant? Did you have a favorite?
Yeah, it's the same place. It's you could eat there, and then anytime, no matter what, they kept the kitchen open. And what the hell is the name of it? I can't think.
Was it a steakhouse?
Yeah, it was like a steakhouse.
Not Gibson's.
Chop House. No.
Oh, I know the Chop House.
Yeah, this was, it's great. And then with Stan Getz, Errol Garner coming, all the top jazz guys, Miles Davis.
Very cool.
Big time. It was
Did Tony get up there and sing once in a while?
No, we kept him out.
You kept Tony out?
No, he wouldn't. Jazz, he wasn't crazy about jazz, but I was always a jazz guy.
Yeah, you played. You played the drums.
Yeah.
All right, very good.
So, yep.
Yeah,
I
very
would
cool.
say Chicago. It used to be a great city.
Yeah, now it's kind of shaky. All right, let's get back to Steve Verkman from Clean Sweep Option. You know, Steve, programs, you mentioned programs in yearbooks. They are becoming very popular, aren't they? Oh, we lost them. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, not you. It was our producer.
You hear me now?
You know he's going to pay for that.
Go ahead.
You guys should be like those isolation booths like in quiz shows.
Yeah, I have Lysol.
Do it like that.
Anyway, so programs, scorebook, you know, all that stuff. That stuff is becoming real popular, isn't it?
I'd say it's very solid. The people that collect pubs, they're all in, and they love it, and they're very passionate, and they do what they want to do. It used to be everyone would try to get like every team yearbook, and people still do that. But now the focus is more on unique things. Like they want to get a scorecard from the game where Jackie Robinson stole his first base, or maybe within his 400th home run. So that it's become more specific now, and they can be very technical to date them because most of the scorecards aren't scored, so you have to try to figure it out from the lineup and everything.
Yeah, I mean, and you're absolutely 100% right. Those are tough. It takes a little work. You can get to it. You can find out the information, but it does take a little digging. Scored programs, though, are more valuable than unscored, obviously, correct?
Well, it used to be the other way around, but now people, because they want to figure it out, they want to do that. Because it used to be like with the World Series programs, people didn't want them scored. And now some people like that. With the World Series programs, can go either way. Because, not most World Series, it's not a big deal if it's scored for game 1 or game 2. And frankly, people could find the score sheet and score it later on. And then it piggybacks on tickets. Tickets, as I'm sure just exploded in value and price. It's just incredible. And they dwarf the value of the programs, but the programs are still good too. And, they're nice to get them together, but there's a lot of new people, doing these very, technical projects, trying to get a ticket for every game Sandy Koufax won. And they're doing these projects that no one ever used to do. It's like we have a full ticket from the 41 World Series, in our auction. And we have a run of tickets as well. And we always have some nice.
That's very cool stuff, Paul.
I know what's crazy today is tickets are electronic now.
Yeah, that's
and so it takes away that ticket collection type thing.
Well, it's funny, and that I think Rico knows this. I was fortunate enough to win an auction and on some programs, Red Sox programs, and I stumbled upon them. I won Steve an auction. It's every Red Sox program from every year in existence, starting with 1901 up until 2 years ago, which is good. There's some really cool stuff, especially the first 20 or 25 years. Obviously, those are great programs. But I didn't realize this. As I was opening up the program books, I probably found 75 to 80 tickets inside the books as I was opening them up. Wow. So that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? I mean, really cool. From the 30s and 40s, some of them were half, some of them was full stubs, some weren't. But then the other thing I did is thanks to my good friend here. I pulled out all of every book from his entire career, from 63 to 76. And Rico was gracious enough to sign the covers of each one. Did you get the
bill, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Did you send him a bill?
But they are in a separate binder for my kids.
Steve, what's interesting? The old ones, the old yearbooks and scorecards and all that. The advertising. You go way back.
Oh my God!
So and so, 50 cents.
No, but let me
25 cents.
Let me tell you something else.
Now it's like
some of the racist stuff in there is absolutely amazing. Oh my God!
Imagine
it's another time, but also like the graphic design work, like the ones from the 50s and 40s and 30s.
Absolutely.
Like so many times I want to steal those from my covers. Yeah. They're just beautiful. They're great covers. Hey, Rico, there was a show in New York, and I couldn't believe what happened. Somebody needed your 1967 Topps card for a set, and they had the nerve to negotiate. I paid the full price on their card. And we got into a whole fight about $20, and I couldn't believe it.
But something though, in
Red Sox fan.
In honor of you, there was a Red Sox a Rico Petrocelli rookie PSA 10.
Yeah.
That somebody paid $10,000 for.
Yeah, it was
sick.
Drunk.
Anyways.
Well, no, it's. I love when I signed them for you, I was looking through them
Oh, of
with
course,
the advertising.
right?
And
Very
it's,
cool.
it's
Steve, football items. You have quite a few football items. Let's talk about those.
Yeah, we have hundreds of lots. In terms of cards, there's some really nice 1952 Bowman small football cards, and those are beautiful cards. There's a Tom Landry in there. There's a Frank Gifford rookie card. There's a run of autographs. All different types of photos, jerseys, helmets, mini helmets. All the mainline Hall of Famers. We got some signed cards. I just figured out to look in the book, but there's we still do a printed book. We have unopened packs, unopened boxes. There's a lot of nice stuff. There's a run of autographed footballs. It's all sorts of interesting things. There's runs of signed cards. So there's hundreds of lots. Any vintage football collector, anyone doing football pre-1990, I'm sure we'll find stuff in there.
Getting back to the signed baseballs, for instance. Now, I'm sure those don't come from one consignor. I mean, what do you do? Just scour the area, or do people call you? How does it typically work?
Well, people use, fortunately, a lot of it comes to us. We get boxes in every day, fortunately, every few days. So we get, you never know what they're going to have. So the autograph balls, some of it's stuff in our inventory, and there's a run of consigners. So, yeah, some of them are from, people that, went to shows in the 90s, so they would get what they could get. And the big thing with the signed balls now is people want these inscriptions. They don't just want Pee Wee Reese on a baseball. They want it to say, Hall of Fame 1984.
Oh, really?
That HOF.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I get that all the
Not
time.
even just HOF. That's a starting point. They want to go past that.
Yeah.
So, we had in our last auction of this style, we had a couple of Negro League guys who were themselves not exceptional, but they signed it with HOF or Negro League, and they got, instead of getting $200, the ball got $2,500.
Are you kidding?
People some of these things can go crazy. This is what it started with Mantle, with the unusual Mantle inscriptions, and it kind of petered its way down. And some people and on photos too, the inscription stuff has become a craze among autograph collectors. Every extra letter and word that they put in, and it's a huge thing now with collectors.
We actually I just bought a collection of 100 single signed baseballs.
Really? So you do get into some of that stuff?
Some of it, just baseballs, because you can actually fit it in the shop.
Right.
Yeah.
I do have some photos and stuff, but I just don't have the room to display it. But I love the baseballs, and just what you said, the inscriptions are so big. If you look at a Mickey Mantle signed baseball and he has HOF on it, Steve, how much more value that brings.
You sign yours sometimes, Rico Petrocelli, number 6, right?
Yeah, struck out against
No, sir.
547 times.
No, seriously, you sign yours number 6 sometimes.
I sign it all the time, and now I'm getting the same thing. We're going to do card shows. Could you put down two-time All-Star, 40 home runs, 1969?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, World Series, 67 and 75.
Do you like doing that?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, because it's tough to sign in a baseball.
You got a long name besides.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's right.
I mean, that's
But
kind of a
Ted
pain.
Williams and Joe DiMaggio, when they were alive and they did card shows, they wouldn't sign balls or bats. They wouldn't sign it because it was tough to sign.
So who used to sign for Ted, though? Because you've talked about it. Was it one of the Orlando boys?
No.
Who was it that used to
Stop
sign?
it.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
No, we know that.
Johnny Orlando.
Johnny Orlando. So what did Ted teach him how to sign?
No.
He just knew. He
just practiced it, and did it.
Because Mickey did that a lot.
Now
Mickey did that a lot.
if you have Ted's permission to do it, does it take away the value once you find out?
Of course it does. Ask Steve that.
That's what I'm asking, not you.
Oh, it kills. I mean, most of the Red Sox team balls in the 50s, don't have a real Ted Williams. Yeah. And he did a pretty good job. You're not going to catch it right away. And the Brooklyn Dodgers, it's even worse. Their clubhouse guy, just so many Jackie Robinsons.
Really?
Yes.
Snyders are bad. The Yankees, the manager would almost never sign. Like Casey Stengel is usually an easy autograph, but on Yankee team balls, he's almost always secretarial. And even Joe McCarthy from the 30s and 40s on Yankee and Red Sox balls, they just wouldn't bother signing, and they wouldn't deal with it, and they'd have someone do it. And it used to not be that big of a deal, but nowadays people can't stand when there's clubhouse signatures on these balls because it can really trip you up because they're not forgeries. They're
Should
from
be in the documentary.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's very typical, but the Red Sox ones in the 50s are a nightmare. Like 95% of the Ted Williams autographs are bad.
So I was going to ask you that, Steve. How many actually get by the experts,
Wow.
percentage-wise?
Oh, you mean when they make a mistake?
No, and it's a clubhouse signature versus the real player.
Oh, no, I'm saying, we just 95%. I would say 95% of Red Sox team balls from the 1950s have a clubhouse Ted Williams. In my
Wow.
experience, I would say 95% of them, it's less than 1 in 10. It's always a problem. Some of the early ones, it could be real, but it's a mess. And now Mantle, you have the same, maybe a slightly smaller percentage. Mantle starting around 56, you run into the same thing. Even more so in the 60s. By 1961, he was almost never signing a team ball from the whole run. And the later ones were even rarer, like a real Mantle and like a 67 Yankee team ball is like impossible, even though they weren't good. But like a 66, 67, or 68 Yankee team ball with a real Mantle is crazy rare. Like no one, those weren't as collected, they weren't as good, and
They were
nobody
terrible
had
teams,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny, the autograph things, like, they're a little paradoxical how they work sometimes with what's scarce and what isn't. But it's a funny thing. But the clubhouse signatures are, it's a real mess, because they really, and the Yankee team balls and the Bronx Zoo era are always a mess. They're almost never good. And sometimes you get lucky and you get a good Munson, but then Billy Martin and Reggie Jackson are clubhouse and it kills the ball. I mean, it's a mess, though.
Crazy.
It's a mess.
That's why
Hey, by
you
the
should
way,
get it.
no. Hey, by the way, Steve, did you like the turkey sandwich?
That was outstanding. It made my show.
Good. I'm glad you
I want to
enjoyed
ask Paul what his hottest item is
Thank you.
recently.
I'm more of a vintage card shop.
Yeah.
I like to have stuff from the 40s, play ball, 50s, 60s. So that's kind of my.
You don't get into the
one-
pre-war?
Not one item.
I don't have a lot of pre-war. I was lucky enough. I had somebody stop in, and I was able to get like 60 pre-war T206s. I got a green back. I got a red back, Mathewson. So yeah, that's pretty much
that era. And then any particular card that's people.
I wouldn't say
What's hot?
Obviously in vintage. I mean, obviously Steve will. The Ruth, the Gaudis are hot.
It's incredible.
Those type things. I was telling Tom before I came in. I had a 80-year-old man come into my shop, and he had the highlight was four Mantle Bowmans raw. 3 Aaron rookies.
Yeah, that's cool.
4 52 Bowman Mantle. So I've been lucky.
Steve, do you collect?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I collect weird stuff. I collect Cincinnati Red stuff, Johnny Bench stuff, and I collect Hank Greenberg stuff. I don't have any regular cards. People always say I might have one Babe Ruth card in my collection, maybe an E121, I think, and it's beat up, but I haven't seen it in like 20 years.
So mostly just all memorabilia.
No, I do the cards too. I love all the oddball cards. I like some of my favorite things, the regional and oddball issues in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Because I see the regular cards a lot, so
Sure.
I like the unusual stuff that you don't see.
I got to ask you guys this question. I'm going to ask both of you. The Mystique, I don't own one, so the 52 Mantle, there are a zillion of them out there. Why is that card still maintaining its value and then some? I'll ask you that first, Steve.
He's a legend.
I mean, it's just the mystique of the card. There's no scarcity to it. I've had plenty of them. Unfortunately, I wasn't smart enough to keep one, but I'm not a Yankee fan. But it keeps going up and up and up. It does seem insane, but it's for the average person on the street, they can have one card. Maybe that's the card they want, or that's the card they want to be the centerpiece of their collection. So it's the first top set. It's the key card from it. But, it is a little bizarre how much the 51 Bowman trails it.
Totally.
It's just
that is a little weird.
I hit my head against the wall.
You know-
I mean, I have a 51 Bowman, and it's so hard for it to pick up ahead of speed.
The 52 Tops Mantle reminds me of the NBA logo. It's like the logo. It's that of
Right.
sports cards.
Good point.
Is the 52 Mantle.
Before we let you go, Steve, let's talk to Rico. Rico, why don't you tell us
Well,
about our good friends James Fiorentino?
Let me get the
Probably
spectacle. What do
a
you call him?
great artist. Spectacle.
Yes,
He does great work.
you're a spectacle too. Something's wrong. Okay, listen, this kid, everybody's a kid to me.
I'm going to have a cough drop while you're reading.
Yeah, please. Have a mint.
Go ahead.
Folks, if you want to own a piece of sports history at an affordable price, listen to me. Take a look at the magnificent, highest resolution prints of famed artist James Fiorentino. Check out the link here on the screen, and you will be amazed at renderings of some of the greats like Clemente, Ruth, Brady, Jordan, and some of the greatest athletes to ever grace the sports landscape.
No, you're going to screw this one up
The
now.
very affordable limited editions capture every shade of the original work, and yes, they are individually signed by James. This guy is fabulous.
He is good.
If you're looking for a great Christmas present for someone special, and I have a question after this, check out the limited edition autograph.
I told you.
What the hell is this?
Let's see.
Gickleys?
Gickleys, they're called.
Gickleys.
Yep.
Yeah, check them out. Signed by Larry Bird. These beautiful pieces of art are limited to just 33 end pieces.
Right.
What the hell's end pieces?
Just read.
Go to
It's a typo.
jamesfiorentino.com/store/store and purchase your personal work of art. James Fiorentino, in our opinion, is the greatest sports artist on the planet.
He really is.
I have a question.
Go.
What if, will James do this? Because this would be for James. What if a girl, she's 12, her favorite player was Andy Pafko.
Okay.
All right, just not a big star.
Well, he was a good player.
Yeah, no.
Why are you making fun of Andy Pafko?
Card number 1.
Because that's all I used to get in my Andy Pafko and
It's Sibby Sisti.
no, Rip Rapolsky.
Okay.
But would he do a piece for her?
Sure he would. You can commission him.
Oh, okay. So you see
I mean,
that,
he's going to
folks?
charge you.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, whatever. But I was just wondering if he
No,
would do that.
he would do that. You can commission
So you
him.
can do that, folks. This guy is great.
Steve, is the market slowing down?
A little bit. It's transitioning. Like the very, very top of the market, is amazing. But like the number of sales we have is down a bit. People are like all the easy money things to get graded has kind of gone away. Things that silly cards in an 8 that used to be $100 are now $30. But maybe that's healthy. There's a lot of the easy money. I think is and coming out of the hobby. So now we're getting more real collectors. People aren't just buying quantities of stuff and just buying stuff to buy stuff. They're more focused. But it is transitioning a bit. The prices are still really high. You don't know what's going to happen, and it's definitely an interesting market. You just don't know where things are going to go.
Inflation.
Modern more than vintage. Slowing
even
down.
vintage things, like you could take like a silly card, like I don't know, the example, like a 68 Banks and a 7 or something. Like those cards that are easy to get are the 70 stuff. Even in 7s and 8s and 9s sometimes, they're down 50 or 70%. But not
Are they really?
Not a Mantle card, not a rookie card, not a Koufax rookie, not the really, really good stuff. But things where a lot of them can get graded, and as PSA is catching up, enormous amounts of things are coming on the market. So that's going to change things. So you're seeing a lot of, that, and you're going to see some shaking out maybe in the next year if it continues like that. Because you got to really know your stuff and know your customers. You can't just put stuff out and people just buy stuff like that was going on for a few years. It was just dumb money. It was just being thrown at things. Now it's, it's more specialized, but that's what we're seeing.
I think you saw a lot more people spending money during the COVID because they had some money that was coming in. So it was about, that money is dried up. Right. And I think that is also.
Yeah, that probably has something to do with it, I would think.
And inflation.
I would think.
Inflation, definitely.
Yeah. All right, Steve, your website address, number 1, and the auction ends today is Wednesday, so it ends Thursday?
A 2-day auction.
Two-day auction. Okay, good.
Today's auction is baseball autographs. So if you want to get into today's auction, you got to go to cleansweepauctions.com. You need to get your bids in by 8 o'clock Eastern. Tomorrow are baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards, hockey cards, and memorabilia. It's like 1,000 lots. So tomorrow's auction, you have to have your bids in by 8 o'clock Eastern time Thursday. And again, it's cleansweepauctions.com.
And before you go, this will wrap up 2022. You've had a great year. Then when's your first auction in 2023? Have you decided?
Yeah, it's our best. It was our best year ever. Again, it was a record year for the company.
Excellent.
And it's going to start right at the end of the year. And we got a wonderful auction. We have some PSA 10 Perez steel sets.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Including Satchel Paige and Lloyd Wayne. We have some sick stuff coming up. We have a beautiful PSA 7 Wilt Chamberlain rookie. We got a runs of Bruce and Garrig's. We got the earliest known Rocky Graziano autograph, but when he with his arrest records with the different names. So we got some cool stuff coming up.
Cool.
You know, Steve, I know Tom feels the same way. We think that those cards are great investments. You know, people buy, the stock market is what it is.
Yeah.
But people, you know, they buy gold, they buy silver. stuff like that. But these cards keep their value; they go up.
Can I tell you something? You're dead on, Rick. You're dead on. Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
All right, Stephen. Good luck.
Great job, Steve.
Good luck with the auction.
Good luck,
and
Steve.
Have a happy holiday to you and the entire family.
Guys, be well, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Steve.
Steve Verkman
Good
from
job.
Clean Sweep Auction.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break.
Oh yeah.
We're going to try to locate Grady, but with
he's
him, you never
around
know.
somewhere.
You never know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
Does he go to the airport just to go to the airport?
Yeah,
he likes to be around there.
He sleeps in the
bar?
terminal. He sleeps in the terminal.
Oh, in the terminal.
Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I see it.
Owned and operated online auction, specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
They are prized possessions, and you need a place to store them that is safe and secure. The eBay Vault is exactly that. An insured, climate-controlled facility with state-of-the-art security that guards your valuable collection around the clock. Your Vault account is protected by two-step verification and easily accessible through eBay Collection. And everything stored in the eBay Vault is backed by Authenticity Guarantee. Buying and selling is a seamless experience. When you buy an eligible card on eBay, it can be sent directly to the eBay Vault at checkout. Or, if it's already in the eBay Vault, you can just keep it there. And selling from the eBay Vault is just as easy. Every card in the vault has been expertly inspected, detailed, and photographed, so you can quickly sell it with a pre-populated listing. And if your buyer chooses to withdraw their card from the eBay Vault, we handle packing, shipping, and insurance. And same goes for you. If you want that rare rookie card in your hands, you can have it shipped to you at any time. Collect like a pro with the eBay Vault.
The eBay Vault is climate-controlled, insured, and protected with 24-hour security. Soon, you'll be able to send cards already in your collection directly to the eBay Vault. They will take high-quality photos of the front and back of the card and document all of the details for your viewing pleasure and to make a listing to sell process seamless. For more information, go to eBay. eBay, connecting buyers and sellers globally. Before we talk to Grady, why don't you tell us about our good friend
let me
Scott
do this way. We get it out of the way.
and the Collector
Not out of the
Connection.
way. This is a great auction. The collector auction. The collector.
You know something? I give the guy, Grady, I give him one thing to do. Just one.
Dude,
Petrocelli.
I was following us. You can't have 42 commercials on, or people are going to tune
All
out.
right, that's what I tell.
mean, you're having too many. Like, you have to break these up a little bit more. I was falling asleep doing all these commercials. Great companies, great sponsors, but like, what do you have now? A 5-minute show and I mean, what are you doing?
Exactly.
All right, are you done? Go ahead, Rico.
All right, this is the last one for me. Anyway, the Collector Connection is holding their final auction of the year with large amounts of baseball cards in budget, be-friendly grades, and their biggest assortment of hockey cards ever. How about an affordable Hank Aaron rookie card? It's a C-Vard. What the hell's a C-Vard?
Just read it.
PSA 2 or a PSA 4. Stan the Man Musial rookie card. A near-complete O-Pee-Chee.
I thought you were going to screw that one up, too. But
Near
you didn't.
complete. What's an O-Pee-Chee? Where are these names?
Canadian
It's
issue.
Canadian.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. See? Near complete set. 254 out of the 264 cards. They have a great collection of Topps and Bowman baseball and football cards. A Mantle, Williams, K-Line, Campanella cards are just a few examples of what the Collector Connection is offering. Remember, the auction ends this Sunday, December 11th. Head on over to topthecollector.connection. Head on over top.
Two. It should be two. That's a typo.
Head on over to thecollectorconnection.com. You will not be disappointed. The Collector Connection is the most affordable auction house around. So, see, he prints these.
No, but let me tell you something.
And
Scott, this is what
failed. He failed.
but this is what Scott likes. You know why? Because it sticks in your mind that you screwed it up.
Yeah?
Absolutely. All right, listen, let's get to Grady. Grady, first of all,
Hi, Grady.
I don't know if you got
Hey.
my email
Wait.
yesterday.
I have to read. We have another one here. We have a last-minute advertisement just to keep the. I'm kidding. But,
Listen to me. I don't know if you got my email yesterday. I sent an email out to you and Provenzel, and I think that based on the fact that we have made you an icon in the collectibles world, I should get reimbursed for the E90-2. I think you guys should each chip in half and send me a check. You and Prov.
Yeah, right.
is that like that's your best work you've come up with? I haven't been here for like a month, and that's the funniest thing you.
No, I didn't. I don't think it's funny. I think I should be reimbursed.
What's the song? Dream On? Dream On?
Yeah, I think.
No
I think
shot.
Me being buddies with Rico's made my stock go up. Not necessarily
Well, I did get my card. I did get my card yesterday in FedEx. It came in. I'm thrilled.
Okay.
Great card. Great card.
You like it?
I love it. Thank you very much.
Thanks for participating.
Seriously, I love the
and
card.
winning.
Yeah, I was. Well, I overpaid for the card, as you know.
The book business is good.
Well, we had a good year. Let's put it that way. We had a good year.
Did you really? That's good.
Yeah, we did.
Good.
Is this like the pandemic thing? Where
he had such a good year, he won't give us a raise.
You should be paying me.
That's no doubt.
Hey,
No
listen.
doubt. He's still
Cheap. Let's go. What's going on with Heritage? You got some stuff going on.
It never ends. We have our big January card catalog auction to start the year. We're at deadline for that. We're just processing stuff and getting that catalog put to bed. Then we have our February Platinum Night auction, which will be a tremendously large auction in February. So 2 big events to kick off the year.
Excellent. How's Orlando working out?
Who's better than Joe?
Next week we have a special show. We're doing, and this is like kind of a programming note. Joe is coming on the show next week. The reason being is we're bringing in Tom Ruggi from Destiny Wealth Management, as well as Bob Broadwater from Collectables Insurance. So we're going to do kind of a show about investing and insurance for your collections. And we're going to bring Joe in to talk about the values of certain cards in your investment. Yeah. So I think it's going to be kind of a fun show.
That's good.
Just so you can see the whole picture. There's a lot of people that have very expensive collections, and
Yeah,
not
there
so
is.
right.
Absolutely,
And you really should
And
know
there's
what
a
to do.
shocking amount of people that aren't insured because they either don't believe you can get affordable insurance or they just don't understand how it works.
Totally.
And they don't, part of being a collector is buying, trading, swapping stuff out. And it really takes away if you have to do spreadsheets and you have to, keep track of everything. So people just don't want to do it. I know multi-million-dollar collections where they don't have insurance.
It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Derek, you guys have had a spectacular year this year. You've been with them how long now? How long have you been with Heritage? 14?
Since 2011.
Okay, so is this the best year you guys have ever had as far as the sports division?
I don't think as far as sales, but I think, look, during the, with the modern sales where there were 5-figure cards created overnight, I think we may have had a better year. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'd have to ask Ivy. It's been a great year. Obviously, when you sell a card for a world record price, the Mantle card went viral before the auction, went viral after the auction. It was just the story, everything lined up perfectly. That was huge for us.
So you guys got a big bump from the sale of that card, I'm assuming, correct?
I mean, it was the highlight of the National.
Right.
I mean, everybody was talking about it,
I couldn't
do.
We have a picture with Rico and I. Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, and I would hope that, I'm like, what have you done for me lately myself? I'm like a Bill Belichick. I win a Super Bowl. I want to celebrate it for the night of, and then I'm on to the next.
Right. Yeah.
What are we going to do next year? Yeah. I think we set the bar pretty damn high.
So, I think we talked about it earlier with Verkman. The hobby is kind of not slowing down, but coming back to earth a little bit. What is your prediction?
You have the one thing you find that, and I've always been on here telling people to diversify. I don't want to talk crap on modern, but literally when things go from, a $500 card to $15,000 because of because what happened, a pandemic, more collectors got in, people couldn't, wait to buy this stuff, but they're not really collecting if they're flipping it already.
Right.
They're not just, but like I buy something, it goes into a black hole. When I buy memorabilia and I buy a game used jersey, I don't sell it. And I want to keep it. These guys it's like a hot potato.
I know, and that's a little disheartening sometimes.
They also have one other thing in common. A lot of these modern guys are crypto guys. And the crypto market crashed too.
Yeah.
And the modern market, hey, I'm looking for the bottom. I hope we've hit it, but I don't know that we have.
I don't think you have.
What is 2023? What's your prediction on 2023?
Vintage, blue chip, memorabilia, if you can justify, I will never stop saying this, and I still don't understand why this isn't happening more often. When you can buy a game worn photo match jersey or a game used bat grade at a 10 by Tobby, infinitely cheaper than you can buy a card of somebody, there's something wrong with that. Game used is on the field. They wore it. They used it. A card came out of a pack.
That's a good
The fact that some of these things go for, you can buy a Mickey Mantle jersey graded a 10 or a 9, as good as it gets, for less than a LeBron James RPA sells for. That's insane.
Wow. Interesting.
Or a Tom Brady card. So I really think, memorabilia is undervalued, and you're going to start to see more of that go up, as it should. I think you're going to see more, vintage. If the grading companies are still pretty tight with their new standards, these cards that are in 9s and 10s that are even 8s, or that are pop 1s and 2s and 3s and 5s, those are just going to keep going up. The vintage isn't getting hit like the modern.
Yeah,
and the modern,
I agree with that, Paul, huh?
Totally, absolutely.
Derek, before we let you go, the T206 80 plank, has that card, I know that you guys just sold it. As a matter of fact, I had my head in it for, until the 20-yard line, then I got cold feet. But my question is that card slowing down? Is there something going on with that card?
I don't think so. Actually, the card's going up.
It is? Okay.
I think now authentics are going, pieces of crap are selling for a lot. I think T206s are still killer. We just got a big, fresh T206 deal that we beat one of our competitors on, which I'm going to pick up on Thursday. And it's like 1,000 T206s, and it has a plank.
Oh, wow.
Not high grade, but very excited that we just got that deal. And, so that's, again, blue chip stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Everything else is good. You look great.
Oh, thank you. I try. My skin.
Where are you right now? Are you in Pennsylvania?
I'm in New Jersey.
Jersey. Did you?
were
you at the Philly show?
Yeah, I was there.
Did you miss me?
It was you know what? They got big crowds. The only thing is, and they put on a great show, but just to call it like I see it. And again, we take in consignments and its relationships.
Yeah.
But a lot of the dealers were saying people were apprehensive spending money. The crowds were there, though. They had a ton of people there. Eagles played at 1. So anytime you have a show where the home team plays at 1, you're going to kill the show on Sunday.
Something.
Didn't they have the date before the schedule, the NFL schedule came out?
I know.
You know what? They only have so much availability, Rick, to get it, and you just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
But no, people were a little bit more apprehensive spending money even on. So you can tell the economy. Look, the stock market's down.
Right.
The economy, when it's shaky, people are going to hold back a little bit. But the crowd came. Maybe they're just looking for more deals. But I think the hobby's fine. It's just if you were just all about modern and just buying modern, you're going to get hurt.
Hey, one last question: are you going to be in Palm Beach at all this winter?
Is that?
No, you're not coming to my house, so don't even think of it. I'll meet you for lunch, but are you going to be down there, like business-wise?
I certainly could be. I wouldn't take that off the table. At some point, how long do you go there for?
We're there till the middle of April, leaving January 5th. All right, make sure you call me, please.
Or text, maybe.
Yeah, that'll be all right, listen, say hi to Joe, say hi to Prove, say hi to Chris, the gang at Heritage. You guys are there, man. You're at the top of the heap. You're at the top of the heap.
We work hard.
Definitely.
Bring money for lunch.
He owes me a lunch.
I know.
You owe me a lunch.
He's unbelievable.
All right, Derek,
we love
you.
Our auction.
Not only that, but I bought you a damn sandwich at the Boston show.
Oh, boy.
He did.
Isn't that something?
I brought him a sub.
Wow.
They were the best.
I know you did eat it.
Yeah.
All right, brother. We love you. Take care.
Happy holidays. You guys.
Keep the faith.
Derek Grady from Heritage Auction. I think that's a wrap, guys. Paul, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you had some fun. Remember, folks, PB Collectibles, if you're down in the Rhode Island area, this is what we're trying to promote. Small shops for the average hobbyist, the collector. Yeah. These shops are popping up all over the country now, and we want to support them. So remember, PB Collectibles, I'll give the address. 269 Spring Street, Newport. You must have
Newport, Rhode Island, right across from where JFK got married.
so you got a
St.
few
Mary's
bucks.
Church.
You must have a few bucks.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but yeah.
All right. With that being said, Rick, I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Feel better, guys.
I know it. Don't breathe on me.
My best to Elsie.
Thank you all.
Ellen, hope you're feeling better. I'll see you in about an hour. And Paul, with that being said, we love you guys. Happy collecting.
Guys.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.